Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And welcome to another episode of Career Talks on Ramadan FM. I am your host, Saugat Chowdhury, and I'm here to help you navigate your career, job search, and professional growth. Whether you are a student, job seeker, or experienced professional, this show is designed to give you the insights you need to succeed. We're live on social media platforms like Facebook, YouTube, 87.7 FM, and DAB Radio. Please feel free to call us and let us know where you're listening from. Our studio numbers are 0116 4822 I repeat, the studio line is 0116 4822 You can also SMS or WhatsApp us on 077 488 55055. Okay, so today's show, we will talk about how to build a successful career in IT and healthcare sector. What are the skills and attributes you need to be successful in this sector? And I've got some industry experts with me today. We will also talk about the purpose of life and how to be positive and build a career in these sectors. We will also talk about interview mastery, how to prepare, present, and how to impress your potential employer. Also, finally, we'll finish with some motivational advice and hopefully some insights from our guests today. So, as we know, success does not happen overnight. You have to continuously try and put your effort to it. Then if you really work hard, you will be able to succeed one day, inshallah. Now, it is an exciting day for me because I've got some amazing guests with me today. And a guest, a very good dear friend of mine. I know him from my college life, and I know him, his family and my family are always together on all the events and occasions. And my dear friend, Masoom Samjad, who's a CEO of Tulip Tech, he's got an amazing career over the last 20 plus years in the world of IT. And he's been involved in many different international projects. And we are excited to have you here, and hopefully we'll hear from you today, my first guest. And my second guest, even more exciting personality, and I've got Harj Singh Nanua, an experienced leader in social care and recruitment with over 25 years of experience, and he's the Director of Value-Added Business Solutions and Recruit Match. He's also chairman of M-Care, which is supporting care providers across Leicestershire. Welcome to the show.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you guys today?
Great, thank you.
Brilliant.
Excited to be here.
Amazing, and really, really glad to have you on board today. And I know, Haj, it was only the other day we talked, and you kind of came and he said, yes, I'm happy to do it, and I'm really pleased that you did that. You know, you could have done lots of other things 11 o'clock at night, but you're here today. So I'm sure we're going to have an amazing conversation today, and we'll learn a lot about your career and your skills that you've gained over the many years, and hopefully our listeners can benefit from all that. So let's start with you, Masoom. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how your journey started, and we'll go to Haj after that.
Well, thank you so much to Ramadan FM and to you, Saugat. As you know, we have been in this industry for a long time, but it has been an amazing journey for me. I came over to this country in 2002, seems like about 22 years ago. I came as a student to study computer science. After my studies, I was very lucky to get into British Telecom in their financial services, where we looked after the connectivity between the stock exchange and the banks. So it was very, very high pressure job, made me who I am today. And after that, I worked in a few other big companies, some well-known companies, Holland and Barrett, probably you know them, Coventry Building Society, the bank in East Midlands. So after doing a lot of this work for other companies, I thought, why don't we start our own business? Because the skill set that I had was unique, and also it was expandable very easily. So we started our own business with Tulip, and we started with one person, with one client. Eventually, we grew to about 40, 50 employees within our company, mainly developing softwares. We are focusing on healthcare industry right now. Yeah, it's been an amazing journey.
Brilliant. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about the skills that you've acquired over the many years, and before we get there, let's just talk to Haj. And Haj, once again, thank you for being with us today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how your journey started?
No, so thank you very much today for inviting me and giving me the opportunity really to speak to you and your audience about the adult social care sector. So yeah, just a bit about myself. So I've been born and bred in Leicester, so studied here, did schooling here and so on. So, my parents were in business and they said, go to university. So I went to university. I did a degree in chemistry and medicinal chemistry at the University of Manchester. And after graduating, was starting to look for a job. And my mum and dad said, well, do you want to come and join us in the family business of care homes? So I thought, okay, I'll take that opportunity and I'll start to work through that. Didn't know too much about social care in those days. Obviously, my background was chemistry. So when I came to work with my parents, I started by working in the store cupboard, just cleaning out the store cupboard and organising it, and slowly did lots of different things like doing deliveries, administration, and then I just worked my way up to accounts, to HR, and then to all the stages of a social care organisation. My background was care homes, and finally became a director, and mum and dad took a back seat, semi-retired and so on, so did that. But we, as through my journey, was involved very heavily with the association, which is MCare, which you mentioned earlier, and became very involved in that. I actually got one of the ex-chair basically decided, okay, you need to come on the exec board, and slowly worked my way up exec board, director, and the current chairman of the association. And with the care home side, I actually exited in 2018 from our care homes. But since then, I've been running a business consultancy which supports social care businesses. And the main ethos of that is what I do for my family business, I'm doing for others. And with the Recruit Match, it's more of supporting those recruits through their journey and their career, really. So
amazing. So it's great to hear your 20 plus years of experience in 2 minutes. It's just a very nice summarized version, but it's very interesting. When I'm listening to you, I can't help thinking there's so many different caps you've got to wear, right? So how you so tell me a little bit about your the experience that you're getting on the recruitment side of things, and what are the challenges you're facing at the moment?
Okay, so recruitment in our sector has always been an underlying issue. For recruitment, retention is a biggie in the sector of adult social care. Just to give kind of a rundown to your audience, the adult social care sector covers a number of different organisations. So the main that the audience probably heard of is care homes and home care. Yeah. So it is a massive sector in the UK, and just in Leicestershire and Rutland alone, there's about 600 providers, and 50% of them. These are just approximate figures, but about 50% to home care and 50% of care homes. And just in the background, there's an ever-aging population, so that's ever increasing. So there is a lot of demand on that, and with the social care, that supports the NHS and the hospitals and primary care, so that does make an impact on there. So we are very, very important in the scale of things in social care, and obviously that was very heavily seen over COVID. So the challenges for the sector is that basically recruitment, retention is a big issue, and it's always been an underlying one. And then that will bring me on to the overseas stuff, which I'll touch upon later. With the budget, autumn budget as well, obviously not just for our industry, but all industries have got a massive increase in costs. So they're spiralling costs coming out, and how they can manage those and deliver those good services. And regulation, we're highly regulated. So the regulator obviously is under strain as well with everything that's going on in the world.
Care Commission, isn't it? CQC?
CQC, that's right. So, and we've got a lot of regulations to abide by there, and that, we need to make sure there's enough resources. So the challenges in the sector is predominantly that. But
I think we're going to touch on those some of those points, and you've mentioned about international recruitment. We'll touch on that. Let me just quickly read a brother Azman Shah. Thank you very much for your text message. Everyone looking amazing, and the setup is excellent with mix and match professionals. Oh, amazing! Thank you very much. Trust me, I've put my thoughts into this. It wasn't just a miracle. But Azman, thank you for your message. Please do call us or message us, and you can can speak to our audience, our guests here, and hopefully hear more about their success stories and get some insight from their experiences. So so we're going to come back to you again, Haj, in a minute, and I just want to ask a similar question to you, Masoom. Obviously, you've got a lot of experience working in the corporate world. At the same time, you are actually now running your own company, and you are going and talking to lots of different clients, and also talking to your engineers. So tell me, when you're hiring a job, for these roles, what kind of skills you're actually looking for your potential employees?
Thank you, Saugat. Actually, when I'm hiring, you would be surprised to hear this. I don't actually focus on the skill, because you can always teach the skill.
Okay, yeah.
What I look
Brilliant.
for is somebody who is willing to learn those skills when I teach them. So when I get a candidate who is really willing, showing a lot of enthusiasm, showing a lot of hunger for the job or for the role, I take him or her, because once you have the attitude, everything else
Absolutely.
can come through. So
Yeah.
I always
Very good
focus on the
point.
attitude and what they want to achieve, rather than what they know right now. Because we know the people coming into the job market, they don't have any experience. They don't know a lot of the things. You cannot expect them to kind of write 1,000 lines of codes from day one.
Yeah.
So you got to teach them. So that's what I look for.
That's a very, very good point. And those of you listening today, this is actually a critical point to be successful in life. Because what we know today may not be relevant 3 years down the line. But what we need is the ability to continue learning.
Yes.
And the ability to continuous learning will help you be successful. So this is so amazing point you've mentioned there, Masoom. So how about yourself? What are the skills you think are critical for your potential candidates?
Yeah, so I think Masoom hits the nail on the head, to be honest with you, and which is the same in our sector as well. So it's that enthusiasm and so on. So what I've always said as well, for when we're employing people, it's the heart that matters.
Yes.
So the people need to be caring, and that's what we need to do. So it's about getting that person that's got those, the daily life skills. So just being, caring for their elderly grandparents or parents or whatever the situation. So I think it's a bit interesting as well, because that's obviously the IT industry, but it's a similar. Enthusiasm is very important. So as long as they've got the caring skills, everything else can be taught. And so so when I say providers, I'm talking about care homes and home care. So these services, there's a robust training and induction and shadowing, and there's all these other things. So personally, when I employed in the past, it didn't really matter about what was the historical of whether they've worked in care homes for the last 10 years or so on. It was just really getting to know that person. And once I got to know that person, or my managers got to know that person, it was like, okay, that's it. They've got the heart, so we can teach them the rest, and we can teach them the good rest. So I think that's really important of that.
So that it's quite clear, isn't it? No matter what the sector you work, it's a caring for your patient or caring for your client is actually the same thing, because it comes from your inner responsibility. Your company or your owners or your employers can tell you, okay, these are the things you got to do, but you got to feel the purpose of that. You got to feel the connection, why you're doing this, and how that impacts on people's life, right?
Right.
So when obviously part of the recruitment we actually focus on healthcare. So IT healthcare, one of our key sectors in TechCitus recruitment, and we've seen this issue comes in quite often when you're looking for healthcare care workers. Often it's a lot challenging role to fill, because people often don't want to work as a care workers. Now, what I want to understand from you, Haj, how you inspiring, or how you helping the people who are trying to get to the care workers? What are the steps they can do?
Okay, so I think again you've hit the nail on the head. Is the care sector is not a glamorous sector that everybody thinks of. Okay, this is what the case is, but it's very rewarding. Okay, so the sector is so rewarding for those people that get into it and they work their way up. So there is a big drive for recruitment. So with the recruitment retention issues that we've had in the sector in the past, there's a big drive from government level to recruit. So they look at, the providers that work there, they're looking for people with values, and they're caring people. So that's the key to it. And actually, what's happening now, it's not seen as a career. And I think that's the key part of care, is not seen as career, but there's a lot of opportunities within the sector, and there's loads of different ways that it could go. So you can get a lot of benefits from it. So there's lots of benefits from it. It's a very emotionally rewarding role,
Yes.
and it makes a difference to every single person's daily lives. And so when you drill that down into your heart and you see that impact, that's what really gets there. So as a job role, it's very varied. Every single day is a different day, and you work with so many different people and different needs, and it depends on where they are in their health and what's their system and their social aspect. So that's one of the key things. But moving on to the career side, there is opportunities, and I think this is what's missed from that. So you get, like we said, is if you've got the heart, you go in, and the organisation will give you on the job training. And they'll give you the opportunity to train as you learn. And so those live skills that you use on a daily basis actually help you develop those and give you confidence while working. And then it goes to that long-term employment and prospects. So obviously with the aging sector, aging population, it's always going to be increasing. So there is a lot of career progression, and there is abilities to do that, and you just got to have those right qualities. Good communication skills are
absolutely
important.
Yeah. I think it's good to highlight one point. When you're talking about social care, there are potentially two type of jobs in there, isn't it? You got the domiciliary care, where people are going to caregivers are going to people's houses and supporting their care living, and also you've got the care homes. So I think you've got experience on both of those sectors, isn't it? Mainly the care home sector.
I used to run care homes and mainly with dementia, and so we had high needs residents, but as my role as the chairman of the care association, we have home care, we have supported living, we have care homes, home care and supported living, and there are a lot of other kind of organizations within that as well. So there's a lot of focus on rehabilitation now, so there's new services coming out on what to do. So there is that aspect, but you're completely right. There is those different areas that you have to work within. I would say as well, within all of that, and I think this is what some people think. They think it's just carers, but actually that doesn't have to be all the all and end of it. There is other parts of within there. So you've got administrators, you've got handymen, you've got gardeners,
so many things.
You've got kitchen staff, you've got domestics. So there is that. And to give my own experiences, I once had a manager who started as a domestic in the home, and 10 years later she was the manager running the home. So there is that opportunity, and now there's more opportunities because the businesses are growing and in different ways. So you could go from manager to directors to regional directors and to the owners of the homes in there. So there is plenty of opportunity, and there is some people go to the NHS, some people go to different organisations. So there is progression in there. I think we really need to get that out there.
Absolutely. So it's not just one kind of things, and it's about making people aware there's so many different varieties of jobs that they can get to. So thank you very much for the insight. Let me just go back to our messages again. So Azman Shah, thank you for another beautiful message there. So let me read it out. I can relate myself with this brother Masoom, what he just said, that what he's looking for as a recruiter. So I think people resonating what you're saying, and it's amazing. So Masoom, coming to you on that front, obviously you are hiring for so many different roles. So why don't you tell us what kind of vacancies you're looking for now, and also tell us what type of jobs actually really out there when it comes to IT, because IT is a huge sector, right?
IT is a huge world out there. Everything in this world right now is connected. We are all interconnected. We are all live. We are all everywhere. So everything derives from IT.
Absolutely.
And different segments of IT. When I started my career, I was a network engineer, right? Same as you, Saugat. And I remember how I got into this. We finished our university and we started sending our CVs everywhere, and nobody was calling us. Remember those days? And then what did we have to do? The first thing we had to do is write a very good CV and a covering letter. Number one. If you do not have a good CV, you are not getting called. Because, without a good CV, you are out.
You have to sell yourself.
Absolutely. So first thing was to create a great CV. And then, second thing, even after creating great CV, yes, I was getting calls, but then I was not passing those interviews.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, why wasn't I passing those interviews? I knew what I knew. Then I realized that I did need some sort of skills. The skills can be very varied. So I had to focus on one thing and one thing only, which was network engineering.
Yeah.
And within network engineering, I focused even more within one vendor called Cisco.
Yeah.
Right? So what I did, and everybody should do this actually, once you finished your university, don't expect to land a job immediately.
Yeah.
You need to show the industry that you have some skills. Yes, you might have a good attitude.
Yeah.
You might be very enthusiastic. But having that skill will put you one step ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
Now, how do you prove that you have a skill?
Exactly.
The only way you can prove it when you have a certification.
Getting some professional certification.
Professional certification.
Yeah.
So what I did, I focused on one topic, one subject, one company, and I gave myself 6 months learning it. And I got myself a couple of certification, and boom, the interviews coming in, started getting job offers everywhere. And at that point, I could pick and choose what I want, which company I wanted to join.
There we go.
So
Guys, you're getting some golden nuggets here. Make sure you record this.
no, so obviously the first thing was attitude. Second thing was certification.
Yeah.
You finish your university, do not expect to land a job immediately. Get a certification, whichever field you enjoy the most.
You know, Masum, I always say to my candidates or those who come to me for asking any advice or suggestions, I say to them, write down, get a paper, write down why should this company hire me? And write down what you truly think that the skills you have.
Right.
When you write those skills down, you realize what you really know and what they're really asking for. A lot of people apply for jobs without realizing the job description itself.
Absolutely.
And then they say, oh, I'm not getting the job offers. I'm not getting the interviews. Well, it's going to be difficult. It's already crowded market. Lots of people out there looking for jobs. If you don't research your job description, if you don't understand what are the key skills they're looking for, and you then apply for you're just wasting your time maybe.
I'll give you another trick.
Yeah.
The people out there looking for jobs right now. So we have jobs on our LinkedIn page. You'd be surprised how many youngsters do not have a LinkedIn page. They might have a TikTok page. They might have an Instagram, but they don't have a LinkedIn page. But us, all the people who are recruiting professionals, we are in LinkedIn. So recently, we advertised for a job. I didn't even know that job was out there, but one guy, found me through that job post and contacted me directly. He was very clever. He said, I'm not going to go through the HR or a manager. I'm going to go through CEO.
Yeah.
And what he did, he wrote me a beautiful message saying his background, why he would be great fit for this company and for this role, and if I could consider him for this role.
Amazing.
And guess what happened? I downloaded his CV.
Yeah.
I sent it to my HR and said, hey,
Look into him.
Get him an interview.
Yeah.
So that little step put him in front of everybody else. Now, of course, he had to go through the interview process, the test, and everything else. But going to that interview session, already you are 1-2 steps ahead of everybody else.
Amazing. That's a really powerful point. And I actually talked about some of these things on our last show because we talked about the power of LinkedIn and how not a lot of people are actually leveraging that tool that's freely available out there.
Yeah.
And if you are applying for a job and you know the company, you can actually go and check how many people are actually there.
Yeah.
What are they talking about? Go to websites like Glassdoor, see what they're talking about. And knowing that gives you the insight that you will never have until you start the job.
And also that becomes part of your research, right?
Yeah.
When you are looking at the job and the company, you are actually researching about the company. So when you go to the interview, you could actually talk about problems that those companies might have. And then you could bring in how you are the person
how you
to
can
solve
help
this
them.
problem. boom, you got
Yeah,
the job.
absolutely.
Once you can say, hey, you have this problem. How do you know we have this problem? Because you are talking about it in your LinkedIn post,
Yeah.
right? And I did some research, and I think this is how I
Yeah.
can solve this problem. You know, if somebody in my interview said that to me,
Yeah.
he is immediately hired.
Immediately getting job.
Yeah.
Because why do people hire? Because they hire, they've got a problem or an issue to fix.
Yeah.
And effectively what you need is people who are there to find issues, not just sitting there waiting for someone to say, okay, you go do this or you go do that. So that's absolutely brilliant. Brother Asman sent another long message. That's brilliant. Why don't, so Haj, why don't you read that message, please?
Okay. Sorry, so from Asman. So I personally, when I started working, I didn't have much skills or experience on a professional job, but I had hunger and always curious to learn anything new, which ultimately developed my skills, which I've learned today and what I am capable of doing nowadays. It came automatically over the time, saying that still I am on the same level of hunger and learning attitude, can-do attitude.
Yeah,
That's great.
brilliant.
Yeah,
that's
great.
really good, isn't it? So it's all about having a positive mindset. Yeah. I think this actually
Continuous growth.
Well,
that's what he's saying. That,
this is
we have to be in a mindset of continuous learning, and continuous growth.
Yes,
That's the key, because the time is evolving.
Yeah.
Times are changing. What used to be great profession 20 years ago as a network engineer,
it's not anymore.
It's not anymore.
Yeah.
Right? You might have Cisco certification, you might have few jobs here and there, but it's not like hot cake.
Yeah,
But there are other hot cakes out there.
Yeah.
You know, you could learn AI, you could learn automation and things like that. The new technology was out there. And that's continuous learning and continuous growth will always make you relevant.
Yeah. You know what they say, evolution. So our knowledge evolution is must. You know, if you're not evolving with the time, we will be the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So, and this is another thing we would like to talk. I'm looking at the time thinking 27 minutes. Wow, how is the time flying? We want to talk about the power of technology and power of AI, because effectively what we're seeing is over the last few years, the shift in those artificial intelligence is incredible.
Oh.
So that's changing the landscape of things. So why don't I come to you, Haj, first, and tell me a little bit about how AI or this new technology changing your landscape.
So within our sector, there is a lot of drive for digital technology, and over the last few years, there's been a lot of funding come from government to support care providers, care homes, home care, to actually integrate that within there. So when you go back 10 years, and you'd have paper after paper of reports. So there has been a lot of support for digital social care records. So staff are able to use their phone, not their phones, but the phones, the units, the iPads, whatever it is in their laptops. So there has been all that, and actually there's more technology coming. So there's a lot of like wearables as well now to support with falls, to analyze falls. So a resident could be sleeping in their room, and there's something that's analyzing them at that point. It's recording their a sound, and it realizes when they're actually struggling to breathe, or when there's that. So there's lots of different technologies.
So sorry to interrupt. My auntie lives in Bradford.
Yep.
She's bless her. She's about in her 80s, and she's got, like you rightly
Wearables,
said, she's got a watch.
Yep.
She's got a locket.
Yep.
So in the event, the watch measures her temperature, her heart rate, everything. She's got the locket. There's a little button.
Yep.
If God forbid she falls, and actually she had to use it once. She pressed that button. It actually sends signals to the people who are monitoring it. That sends signals to the family members, and eventually they can come running.
Yeah.
And I said to her jokingly, "Can I press that button just to see how quickly it happens?" She said, "No, I checked it already," and they do come quite quick. So it's amazing to see how that's actually changing the landscape of things, right?
Well, there's a lot of technology. Me and Masoom were at an event this week, and there was robots there was screens, there was so on. So there is a lot more coming in. The AI is coming integrated. So as part of my role, as part of the association role, we do manage projects which are digital over the country and social care. And within that, there's a lot of drive to connect with GPs, connect with the NHS. So there's a lot of connectivity there. Then there's the AI side, which is it's still early days for, I think in general, early days, but in the care sector, it's early days as well. But there is a drive towards that, but there's about the ethics of it and getting the processes right.
I'm going to come to you. I'm going to come to you in a second. I think this is absolutely brilliant conversation. I just want to tell my audience the studio line is 0116 4822086, and our SMS or WhatsApp number is 077 488 55055. We're actually live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitter, Spotify. I'm tired already. There's so many of them. So guys, if you're listening, feel free to call us, put us your messages, and we can get some further feedbacks from our guests here. So Masum, I know AI is something very close to you.
Yeah.
You're working on this. You've got some amazing projects going on. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's amazing how the healthcare, which Harj is on working, are kind of ready to adopt technology. Traditionally, the healthcare industry has been very, very manual, very time consuming, and also it put a lot of pressure on the nurses and the carers and the care home owners, because the regulations are so tight. You have to have every record of everything, otherwise, they can shut you down. So we started thinking how to solve these issues, right? There are few softwares out there which helps somehow the care homes, but I met
very expensive ones.
Very expensive one. But then I met this amazing woman. Her name is Nimat Sadiq, and she owns Langdale Care Home. She's a visionary. She's been in this industry for 20 years. And once I started to talk to her, I realized the challenges she was facing and then how technology could help it. But she has a vision, and the vision was, why couldn't we use technology to better care for our resident?
Yeah.
And we both started working together, and we are creating some softwares for care home industries where AI is heavily used. And it's very early days. We are hoping to launch this in this summer, but we can already see how this is making their life so much easier, so much better. There's nothing like this out there. And this kind of visionaries can change an industry. And this is what we are kind of aiming for now, that we are going to adopt technology within this healthcare industry in the UK, possibly around the world, to make sure that we care for our elderlies in a way that they're safe, they're dignified, and we do not burn our carers down or our
absolutely,
down.
because it is a skill shortage sector. So anything to leverage that skill shortage and actually able to improve the efficiency and improve patients' excellence is always welcome, right?
Absolutely.
So let me just quickly touch back, go back to the messages. So one brother messaged or someone messaged here saying, can we still get good jobs without going uni or having qualification at the age of 20? I say absolutely you can. Absolutely you can. But I want to hear more from you guys. So why don't you just briefly touch that point, Haj?
Harj, you go ahead. Then I'll.
Well, no. First of all, like we've covered already, it depends on what's within inside yourself. So there's that. But the skills will come. So within our industry, like we do have people who have have qualifications before they come, or they've done for a number of years and experience and so on. So there is that. But there are some people who are blank canvas and coming in. But it's about having that heart and that will and that caring nature, and as long as there's the ambition to want to excel and they want to progress in their career, it's quite easily done. And within our sector, there is a lot of support within the sector to actually provide that. And actually, there's lots of funding that's available there for training. And so the care homes, the home care, they can access that and provide that. So there's always quite a lot of stuff that's there that's able to be there. But you've got to obviously balance it out with your day job as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think there's more building enough within that, but then also we have others that don't want to progress and they're quite happy at that stage. So there is a mix of people do it, but it all depends what you want to do within yourself.
If you really want something, you'll go get it, right?
And you know, our hurdle before was where can you progress in the sector, because no one could really see that far. But actually, when you drill down to it, like I have just earlier, there is a lots that can be done now, and there are lots of people going into other industry, whether it's, you know, up the ladder in social care or within the NHS or with other sectors.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I do. And I say absolutely. To be honest with you, I think a lot of Gen Zs are also realizing this, that going to university is not the best use of your 3.5 years or 4 years, and then how many thousands of pounds that you have to pay.
Yeah.
Rather, if you spend the time to build up a skill which is relevant to the time, definitely you can get a job. I know a person, a 20-year-old, who did not go to the university, who loved football. And because he loved football, he started looking at jobs which would put him towards that industry. And he ended up becoming a producer for BT Sports, that TV channel, where all the football matches are happening. And because of his passion, he got the job because, oh, look, this guy is really, really passionate about football, so we should give him a chance. So he got in as an intern, and now all the BT Sport graphics and everything that you see happening through this guy.
Amazing.
And he does not have a university degree.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
You don't need a degree or qualification.
Absolutely. I would say, where possible, if you've done your school or college, if you can get a qualification, do that. If you don't have a qualification, try to get an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
If you get an apprenticeship, it gets a hands-on experience, because that hands-on experience is very important.
Yeah.
And that can open up new doors. And always, like we already touched on, always try to learn as you learn. And learning doesn't have to be just reading books. It can be going through, working with your colleagues, or even setting up your own labs and getting, we used to do this when we were learning Cisco. We had our own labs. And so you got to have the passion, and that will carry you over to the next level. So that's brilliant, guys. So I think there is another. So could you, as Asman mentioned, could you advise where I can start? If anybody wants to, the job career switch is actually a very important topic. So obviously this show, our listeners can be anybody who's actually, school leavers or college leavers or just going to university, or even professionals who want to potentially switch their careers.
Yes.
And guess what? If we can influence people to actually understand the beauty of technology and cares, and they switch that's actually the reason why we do the show, right? Of course, yeah. So if anybody wants to switch into IT, what would you say, Masoom? What would be like the basic foundation things they can do?
So again, they need to find the passion, because IT is such a broad subject. Do they like to do graphics, or do they like to do connectivity? Do they like to code? What interests them? Or security. What is that niche? You got to find your niche, whichever industry. Even if you went to care industry, do you want to be a carer or do you want to be a care manager? There are two different things. Similarly, within IT industry, do you want to be a programmer or do you want to be a project manager?
Yeah.
Do you want to be in sales in IT?
Yeah.
So you got to find your niche.
Yeah.
And once you found your niche, and always I tell this to everybody that come across me, find something that you love.
Yeah.
That does not feel like a job.
Yeah.
That feels like something that you would do on your spare time.
So when the time is hard, you don't want to give up because you love it.
Exactly. Yeah. So and even if it's not making you money at the time, and you are becoming an expert in it, eventually it will bring you money. So pursue your happiness through your job.
Yeah.
So usually, what is job? Job is like something that we do because we have to do to pay your bills.
Yeah.
And then you get stuck in this dead-end job, and then you feel like you are stuck and you cannot move away. But if you found a niche that you love to do, doesn't matter whatever it is, and you can do it. I know a guy who was again network engineer, but didn't really like that job. What he liked to do, he liked to actually do carpentry. So, but there is not much glamorous job out there doing carpentry, and especially making small, animals out of wood.
Well, that's
So you know what he did?
interesting job.
You know what he did? He set up a camera, and then he started doing that
yeah.
for TikTok.
Chipping the wood, right?
Chipping the wood.
Brilliant.
And you would not believe
Yeah.
how many millions of people was
Yeah.
watching him just chipping on wood.
Yeah, and this is a beautiful
That
thing.
made
So-
him hundreds
Yeah.
of thousands of
So
pounds.
it's not what you actually do; is how you present it to the world. Often makes a massive difference.
Absolutely.
And in the days that we are living in the information era, and
Yeah.
it's getting more prominent in our lives. So anyone who, if you're good at content making, or if you're good at content editing, this can be your job.
Yeah.
If we've talked about more sophisticated jobs like software developers and this and that, but the world of AI is coming, and that's going to change the landscape. And also the businesses. One other thing I would like to use this show to actually let our listeners, because AI is going to change the businesses that we know at the moment, how our small to medium businesses that are running right now, they need to start be aware of the benefit of AI,
Adopting it.
and start adopting it. Our communities are not really aware of the technology and the benefit they can get. Yeah. So imagine you have a small shop and you're selling things online, maybe just few hundred things. But if you apply the AI-driven tools, if you apply the AI call-out agents, Microsoft is launching a new AI sales agent in May, and things like this. If you apply this and if you use your Microsoft Salesforce, it's going to be a machine doing your 3 people's job.
Yeah.
So we need to start telling our audience and our businessmen and people in the society, look, let's start using this so we can leverage those technologies, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Just be realistic. For example, just real life example, right? We were working with a client who had a shop, brick and mortar shop, where they were selling farming stuff, right? And his customer base was 5 miles radius within Leicester. So when we met him, I said, how would you like to sell to the whole country rather than the 5 mile radius in Leicester? He's like, no, man, this is too complex. We don't know how to do this. Guess what? Just creating a Shopify website, putting all their items in the Shopify sells. Now he's getting orders from Scotland. He's getting orders from all over the country.
Exactly.
And plus his real
base
customer
is still
base.
there. Yeah.
And suddenly, boom, his sales is like 3 times higher.
Yeah.
And then he goes, but how do I write all this description of all my items? I don't have time for this, and I can't afford a full-time employee to write this. Then I showed him ChatGPT.
Yeah. Now
Use ChatGPT to write all this description and make the
now
graphics.
You can take a picture and actually it will describe
Exactly,
it for you.
Yeah. So and then we created this automation where all he had to do, take a picture and put it in his Google Drive.
Yeah.
AI will grab it, look at it, write a nice description, put a price next to it, and ask you, is this okay? If you say yes, it will be published on the website. The SEO is done.
Yeah, the
the
agents are
marketing is
doing the
done.
job for
Everything
you.
is done.
Exactly.
So suddenly, that one person is running a multi-million-pound business
Yeah.
from his little shop.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, exactly. And I think so
that's the power of AI.
Power of AI, exactly. And I think the beauty of it is if you are forefront of that curve, you will get benefit, but it's a double-edged sword. And if people can left behind, and when you left behind, that also, we've seen this time and time again. We've seen in 80s and 90s when the people were working in the coal industries, and that changed, and all the manufacturing, and even in Leicester, we were famous. Leicester is an amazing multicultural city that we live in, but we've seen the transformation happened during, when the garments industries started to leave Leicester, right? So if you are not taking the advantage of it now, 5 years down the line, it might be too little, too late. So people need to wake up to the idea of, okay, what can I do to learn these new tools and new technologies and benefit from it? I was talking to this individual again, similar, like he wants to do more sales, but he doesn't actually have the ability to hire more people. So I was showing him, why don't you use this sales agent? So it's a small subscription to pay. If you don't like it, you can stop it. It's not like you're hiring someone and then potentially if he doesn't, you still got to stick with him for many years. So give it a try. And so they're in the process of trialing this now. So this is the beauty where we can hopefully encourage our audience and our local businesses to adopt this.
I will give you another example because I'm very passionate about this in the healthcare industry, right? So AI, the way we are using AI to build our software, Empathica.
Yeah, tell us.
So Empathica is going to be a software which is going to have everything a cat overdose yourself.
Yeah.
Now, if it's not paracetamol, imagine this is morphine.
Yeah.
You could kill someone, right?
Yeah.
But now, within our software, with the AI, we would be able to cross-check behind the scene before you give that medication to see if one contradicts other or if you're overdosing.
Yeah.
Without the power of AI, we won't be able
very
to
difficult.
do that.
Yeah.
So that's how it can actually bring really positive change within the healthcare industry.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. And just on that, because I've obviously been involved with Masoom, the care sector is quite ahead of the game on digital social care, so digital side of things. There's lots of things going on. It's been going for a number of years, but I know there's exciting times ahead because AI is kind of on the cusp of what it is and so on. So, and I think it will be interesting to see with Masoom's Empathica when it comes out and everything about how the AI works on that and works in there. So that will probably be a breaking point in the sector. Where
I hope so. Yeah.
Brilliant. No, this is really good. I'm looking at the time, and we don't have a lot of time. So I do want to touch another point in the healthcare sector, Haj. We know lots of companies brought a lot of international candidates. And we've seen the real picture, where candidates come in, they don't even have a job to go to, and that's a real problem. Part of our recruitment company, we've actually helped a lot of candidates with the real jobs, and when we actually gave them the job and they got successful, because they're incredible individuals, actually knows a lot of things, and they just been unfortunately misused. And they were actually saying, "Oh, you're not actually charging us anything." They were well surprised, knowing that we're not charging them, and we mentioned that, look, you're not supposed to pay. We are getting paid from the employer, so this is our job. As you're not supposed to pay, we are getting paid from the employer, so this is our job as a recruiter. We should not be charging. Recruiters should not charge any candidates. So tell me a little bit about your experience and what you're seeing in the real field.
Okay, so overseas recruitment, we've been quite heavily involved. So we've actually got a recruitment company which deals with that. We've been supporting a lot of people already in the UK that have come over here and they've not been able to get the job, so we've been supporting them with that. But it's exactly like you said, first of all, it's actually illegal for anybody to pay for an agent or anything to charge that. So we, like your company, we work for our employers who do the whole process and so on. So first thing we say to the people who we work with is, you do not pay us a penny. That's the first thing. So one of the pieces of advice which I'd like to get out there, which is basically anybody that's overseas, that's in your audience, and if someone comes to them and says, we'll get you a job, pay us X amount of money, very mindful that that's not. There's a lot of people that are saying that, and they're not actually getting them jobs. Obviously, there's a big drive by government to do campaigns. And so on. There is there, and I'll give you the email address. So if any of your audience,
let me know. I've got a lot of candidates. If there's a big drive, I want to know as a recruiter. I can help a lot of people out there.
Yeah, so there is that, and then what happened was the doors were open for overseas because there wasn't enough workforce here to be able to do that. But the workforce that came in, there was lots of people who took advantage of that and exploited those people and said, "Oh, we'll get your job." So we know of people that came, and there was no actually service there when there was there was no front door to this place, and so there's lots of things going on. So unfortunately that's the case, but there is a program which I'm involved in as well, and which is being funded by Department of Health and Social Care. The government has funded this, and it's to support these people. So there's a lot of services which are getting their licenses revoked. That means those people haven't got the jobs. So it's just really a shout out to there. There is support out there in the East Midlands. It's called the East Midlands International Recruitment Program, and it's funded by the government. It's all free to anybody who accesses it. It's to support we call them displaced talent, because they've come over and they've got talents obviously, and they haven't been able to get the job because the license has been revoked. So the program is actually supporting staff with that. But there's also
what's their website again?
The website is East Mids, so it's www.eastmidscare as one word.co.uk. And if anybody goes onto that, they can get the email address and so on. But it's actually supporting with other things as well. So for instance, it started off was about engagement with people come from abroad to settle them into the country and to support them with that. So it's about, okay, I need to help with schooling, I need help with finance, and it's kind of evolved into supporting people with food banks, supporting people with anything and everything, or where we get jobs. So there is that facility there. There is that program. So if anybody wants to get support of that, they can do. It's not a government body. It's basically a safe space for anybody to contact. So, and there's pastoral offices within that, and they're basically part of the care associations over the East Midlands are supporting that.
Brilliant.
So that means that it's a private space, and they can be supported as much as they possibly can.
Amazing. Yeah.
So use that, and if anybody has had the letter from the Home Office to say that the sponsor has had their license revoked, they haven't got a 60-day letter yet, but our advice to them is contact this program, because you need support, because there will be
some advice and guidance on that, isn't it?
Yeah. There will be a point in time that 60-day letter comes out, and they've got 60 letters to find a job.
The cartel
and it's
letter,
going to be
right?
very stressful.
Yeah.
And we want to support those really good people that are very skilled to support them into the sector.
Yeah, that's really good, and that's quite fitting. Obviously, I know a lot of stories like this. So anybody who's listening, if they want to contact Haj, if you can go to their website, or you can communicate with us, and then we will pass that details to him.
Very important. Yeah.
Very
It's
important.
It's a subject that we are seeing not only in care industry,
In
also
other
other
sectors
industries
as
as well.
We want to promote everybody coming into the country with a proper job and actually be able to sustain themselves. We're kind of coming to last 3 minutes, so why don't you tell us your last remarks, or what your final feedbacks?
Well, to be successful, there are a couple of things that you need to keep in mind. One is the passion for the job that you choose to do, and then continuous learning. Those are the two things that will propel you to your career journey. Just skill yourself up, be it soft skill, be it a specific skill. Make sure you have the SMART goal. Yeah. And with the SMART goal framework.
You know what it is?
I do know what it is. You can explain.
Yeah, go on.
As for... you say it.
So guys, look it up. Smart objectives. Yeah. So
smart objectives framework.
Framework. So effectively, so you need to make sure you give yourself a reasonable target, something that you can achieve it within a time bound. It's measurable. You don't want to just say something that is unmeasurable. So put a target that's measurable, and hopefully that can help you succeed. So thank you very much. And Haj, what about yourself? Any last?
No, just a quick comment. Really, basically, is the adult social care sector is the market is increasing all the time to go further up the scale. So it's not just like, okay, it's just one type of job. There is that motion. So please take advantage of that. If people want to find out more, there's www.adultsocialcareasoneword.co.uk, and it's got a lot of that's a government campaign about the sector, which shows everything to do with that.
Brilliant.
And you can learn those skills as you go along. Just have the heart and
Amazing.
Caring.
Thank you so much. So I'd like to thank you again for coming in today, and I just want to thank my listeners, my audience, and I would like to thank Ramadan FM to organize this beautiful setup, so we can actually talk about things that matters to very close to our chest, very close to our heart, and also quite a lot of people, hopefully. I'd like to say Texcited Limited is a recruitment and IT consultancy company. We have been supporting businesses across the country, including Leicester's, with the IT, healthcare and finance sectors. And also we've helped a lot of candidates with their CV writing service, how they can prepare themselves for interviews and actually help them prepare for the future jobs. So if you need any help, feel free to go to the website www.texcitedlimited.co.uk. You can contact me on consultant@texcitedltd.co.uk, and hopefully we can help you there. Once again, like my guest says, you need to be passionate. It's all about your inner motivation. If you just watch a video, get motivated, and forget about it next minute, that's not going to help you. So you got to start feeling positive inside, have the positive mindset, and hopefully you continue learn. So one thing, if you take away from this, it's all about learning, upskilling yourself. And if you upskill yourself, nobody can stop you, and no need to compare you with anybody else. It's all about comparing yourself with yourself. So if you just get 1% better, that matters. So thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.